Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michelle Brown with Leading Educators with your Week 6, Day 27 Distance Learning lesson. So, for all of our videos, there are a few things that you can expect. You'll see a list of the resources and materials that you need in the lesson. We'll do an overview of the learning that's contained in the lesson. I'll do a quick model of some of the reading, thinking, speaking, and writing that the lesson requires. And we'll have a preview of the learning for upcoming lessons. Yesterday, we checked our comprehension of the article, "Does he who practices the most go home with the gold?" While today we're going to return to the text to analyze it for a few different things, including author's purpose and diction or word choice. Always remember to share your learning, complete the weekly fluency activity, and do at least 20 minutes of additional reading in a text of your choice after you complete the lesson activities for the day. Now, it's time for our riddle of the day. What has 6 faces but does not wear makeup? Has 21 eyes but can't see? What is it? What has 6 faces but does not wear makeup? Has 21 eyes but cannot see? What is it? If you need more time to think, just pause the video now because I'm about to show the answer. A die or dice, right? And again, this is all about kind of thinking flexibly when it comes to language. Remember, if you think about a single die or dice, it has 6 faces, like it has 6 sides, but of course doesn't wear makeup. And each of the dots on it is called an eye, right? So again, words mean lots of different things. It's important as strong readers that we're always kind of thinking flexibly about what is it that people are really saying when they use those words. Now, here's what you're going to need for the lesson today. They're also listed in your packet. You're going to need lesson 27, that's on page 77 of your packet, the note catcher on page 78, and of course the actual text on pages 71 through 72, and something to write with. So let's remember our guiding questions. We're thinking about how does practice affect our success and what other factors contribute to success. Here's our learning target for today. Let's read it together. I can analyze the text for unfamiliar words and use a close read guide to answer analysis questions about complex texts. Today you'll start by rereading sections of the text to understand the author's purpose. Then you'll think about this question. What was the author's purpose for writing this article? After that, we'll switch gears and revisit the 10,000-hour rule from our last lesson. You'll think specifically about how the new research changes the 10,000-hour rule. And you'll end by learning more about how to annotate for word choice and analyzing the text. Let's get started with our reading activity. I'd like you to reread the article and mark the parts which offer context on what the author's purpose may have been for writing this article. And I'll do a quick model before we get started. So for this, we're going to focus on paragraph 4. Pause the video and reread paragraph 4 to yourself. And again, as always, I suggest reading it out loud to really maximize your comprehension. Pause the video now and read paragraph 4. Okay, welcome back. I trust that you read the paragraph. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some of the things that I annotated as I was thinking about author's purpose. So an important thing in determining author's purpose is paying attention to the details they choose to include. So for example, the very first line of the paragraph says, scientists in the field, however, see the question of 10,000 hours as an impractical one. So in this sentence, I can see that the author isn't planning on settling the debate between the two scientists, right? Like, as I was reading, I was before maybe I was thinking, ooh, she's showing us this scientist versus this scientist, and then she's going to try to persuade me to believe one way or the other. But this is kind of a hint that maybe that's not what she's going to do. Then, as I kept reading, I underlined this quote from another scientist, Fairbrother. And so he said, we know that performance can be profoundly influenced by the right training experiences. Shouldn't we focus on providing those experiences to as many people as possible so that they can reach their potential? And again, the author is introducing another new idea, right? Rather than trying to convince me one way or the other, she's just kind of providing additional ideas, additional context, and that suggests that maybe the author was writing this article to inform. So now it's your turn. Go ahead, pause the video now, and complete your reading. Welcome back. Here in the think part of the lesson, I'd like you to think about what the author's purpose was for writing this article, right? What conclusion can you draw after rereading the whole thing? And what does the author want readers to understand? What's their purpose, and what do they want their readers to understand? And when we talk about author's purpose, keep in mind that authors typically write to persuade, to entertain, or to inform. And so using those annotations that you made, decide what was their purpose, and ultimately, what did the author want readers to understand? Note your answers in the margins of the text, so you'll have those in some of our later work. Pause the video, do this now. Welcome back. We're moving on to the talk part of our lesson. For your discussion today, you're going to be talking with a family member, caregiver, or friend about how the new research in the article changes the 10,000 hour rule. Before you have your discussion, let's go ahead and review some specific paragraphs together. Let's reread paragraph 2 and determine how new research changes the 10,000 hour rule. To be ready for our conversation, we want to know both what the new research says as well as how they came to those conclusions, right? The person who we're talking to, when we're trying to explain the new research, they might say, "What? I know that." And you want to be ready to answer that question. So go ahead and reread paragraph 2 to yourself. Pause the video now so you can read it. Okay, welcome back. Thanks for rereading that paragraph. Now, let me show you some of the key things that you may want to pull out to be prepared for your conversation. So one big piece we have right up here at the top. According to the study, deliberate practice is just one part of what makes people great at something. And a little bit farther down, I underlined, at a certain level of success, other factors determine who is the absolute best. And so this new research is challenging the claim that top performance in almost any field is just a matter of putting in more practice. Then I also make sure to make note of some of where some of this evidence came from, right? Like, what kind of study did they do? And so they tracked the number of hours 2,765 athletes had practiced. Well, they looked at studies where they had tracked those hours. And in that analysis, they were looking specifically at different types of achievement. And so sometimes that achievement was about race time, right? Like how quickly someone finishes the 100-meter dash, for example. But at other times, that achievement was determined by looking at expert ratings or their membership in elite or small and privileged groups. So with these little details, I've got a better understanding of that new research and where that research came from, so I can bring that to my conversation. Pause the video now and go ahead, have that conversation. When you return, we're going to finish our lesson with our daily writing task. Pause the video. Welcome back. We're going to end with a few writing tasks. So the first thing you're going to be doing today is you're going to be annotating for word choice as you reread the text. There's a video that you can watch at this address, learn.newsela.com, and you can see the rest. If you type in that address online, you can watch a video that models how to annotate for word choice. Or, if you prefer, you can follow the instructions that you see right here on the page. Either way, you're going to be returning to the text to annotate for word choice. If you're not using the video, what you're going to do is you're going to highlight unfamiliar words in red. And you can use the margins to annotate for what meaning that you're going to predict for those words. Then you can also highlight the words that the author used that kind of make you feel a certain way in green. Again, you can use the margins to annotate how those words made you feel. You're then going to answer one text analysis question, where you're going to write a paragraph explaining why the author chose to write the article. And as always, you want to make sure that you cite evidence in your answers. Now, before you go away, let's wrap up with a few reminders. If you get stuck and you need some help, reach out directly to your English teacher via email using the format that you see here. In our next lesson, you're going to analyze the text for craft and structure and fully explain the argument for the ways that many different factors might affect performance and winning. We've come to the end of another video. Until next time, please remember, talk about your lesson with someone. Read for 20 minutes and complete a reading log entry. The reading log is at the front of your packet. And finally, you want to practice your reading fluency using the first or second page of your weekly reading. Enjoy your learning, and I'm going to see you again soon.